Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, June 21st. It has been very busy. It is hot right now. It's like now 90 degrees. It's been a busy week uh, for racing and outside of racing. But on the racing side of things, the boys and gals didn't vlog during the week up to this point, and neither have I. Um, it's repetitive stuff right now. Honestly, it's stuff you've already watched us do: clean clutches, flip tires, regrind tires, um, and we're going to be scaling tomorrow night. Uh, but what has been going on though is, uh, if you haven't read online already, I hinted I'm going to be putting a 206 on Leona's cart um, for MTS. And I, I I have mixed feelings regarding, and it has nothing to do with my daughter not being able to handle the speed. She totally can. I unfortunately being forced to do this in a class that I shouldn't be, because we can't simplify rules and just make a one engine rule. We have two engines. And how the rule is set up with MTS and Arena, which run the same exact rules, is you can run an L206 engine with a red slide and a 6100 coil, the same coil that the Sportsmans, Corey, and my dad run. Um, so that is the 206 rule for the cage. Then you can run a Predator. Uh, Governor has to stay in place, but there is no RPM rule. So you can back the governor all the way out the screw, but the screw has to stay there. So the max you can get is 5,000, 50, some right around there RPMs. So I'm already being beat by 1,000 RPMs. And unfortunately, my daughter is the one getting hurt because of this. Is she's not learning the skills of passing, and closing rates and stuff like that. She's listening and doing great when it comes to her line, watching the flags, watching her other competitors. But she's getting hurt, not being able to advance her skills because of that. So because of that, I am now going to be switching her over to a 206. So I ordered the necessary slide that I need for it. But when we take her back up to Rice Lake, she'll run a Predator. And here again is why the rules are different wherever we go. So, like I stated, MTS Arena run the same rules for the rookie cage. And then you've got Thunderhill, Rice Lake, and Eagles Nest that run the same rules for their three tracks. And they run the LO206 also, but they have to run the 4100 coil. Um, and then the Predator is the same exact rules that we run at MTS. And it's frustrating because we have two different tracks, and clearly no one runs the 206 at those three tracks because they're not as fast. So unfortunately, 3 years back, Predator got real bad because there was an RPM rule of 4100, and that's where the rule came for the 206. But people would cheat the motor, go past the RPM, and I just wish all tracks could simplify it. Run the Predator just how we have it, no RPM rule, so you can't go over 50,000 or over 5,000. It'll bump there with a 1270 gear and call it good. And then everyone would be on the same page. Again, driving skills. You can see who has the cheated up Predators. It's out there. We can see it. But so that was one question my wife asked me, is why aren't you putting a 206 on? So I had to explain that. And then we talked about it on the car ride home. And then I talked about it with my family when we got back from racing last Saturday. And basically, Corey, my dad, everyone said Leona's the one getting hurt. Let's make it happen. So that's what we're doing. So she will not be on a 206 going into this Saturday. We're going to run the Predator. And then we have July 4th weekend off from racing. So I'm going to take the time that week to get her ready to run a 206 because I'm going to have to run fuel line from the bottom of her foot, her pedal stand, which actually that is a fuel port where I can put fuel into it. So I'll have to run fuel line, switch the motor. I also will now have to run a spring here because I removed the governor system. Well, there will be no governor system on the 206. So it's a positivity of doing this is the pedal's going to be smoother and easier for her to push. Unfortunately, with all the stupid linkages on the motor, it's not the easiest to push. And I have it as easy as I can get it. I spent countless days trying to get this as easy as I can for her. But I'm maxed out in the legal part, what I can do. And I am not a person who goes and breaks rules. I never have, never will, and I will not teach my kids that it's acceptable to do that in racing and or in life. So we will now play within the rules, and I will make her faster because I asked her, I said, if Daddy had the opportunity to make you faster, would you want to? And she says yes, and I asked her why. And her response was, Daddy, I want to learn to pass because I always get passed. And kind of broke my heart because she can do it. She has the skills. So again, I'm just being forced into the situation, but we'll make the best of it. And we'll put a 206 on her cart. And after this weekend, she'll be running that at MTS up into, she'll go to, I believe, July. We're going to do Rice Lake. So I'll put the Predator back on for them. And then we'll throw the 206 back on for the remainder of the year. Because she's only going to make one more Rice Lake this year. And if she does go back, technically she'll be aged out. I will have to put her in a junior Predator. So my mind has been thinking of what I'm going to do going into next year too, because again, different tracks have different age too. Because we can't be on the same page. So some tracks it's 5 and 6, some tracks it's 5 to 7, some tracks it's 5 to 8. And I don't know where we're going to be racing next year. There's a lot of unknowns. And we have to do what is financially best for us. And so there'll be, I think at the end of the year, there'll be some stuff we'll be discussing. So besides me making an engine decision, Corey was thinking the same thing regarding autumn. MTS runs basically, it's 3 engines. You can run an L206, you can run an Animal, and you can run a clone. And the clones are definitely the clones are definitely not as fast as the Animals. And I've even asked that with Waller and JP, and they both told me if you have a choice between 2 engines, the Animal's always going to be faster. Again, price. But it looks like RPM wise, they're a little quicker. So, and of course, Autumn's in her final year of Junior 2. So it's like, do you want to drop $1,600 on a brand new Animal that you're only going to get half a season out of? So it's been one of those things. But Corey did some research, did some looking, and he ended up finding an Animal engine for $300, and then the starter for $100, actually from a fellow racer, I believe up north, like the cities area, I think. But I know they watch our show and our YouTube stuff, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So thanks out to Doug Willing. Corey reached out, and we purchased that. So Autumn will not have it going into this Saturday, but she will now have it going into the next MTS race after that. So, and then besides that, the Predators have been added to Rice Lake, or not, I'm sorry, not Rice Lake, MTS for the remainder of the year. We are actually going to sponsor the very first adult predator race at MTS. Junior predator and adult predator, but we're only sponsoring adult predator. It's going to be a money rate, no different than the Sportsman's $20 draw fee. All that gets put back into the pot for racing. And so now we gotta decide. I'm gonna guess now that Corey made this purchase with this engine, she'll stay in junior too. So that means we'll be putting most likely Dad in the adult predator. So he'll be pulling double duty at MTS. But now I gotta find some tires. He's currently running the same exact tire program we run with the Sportsman treads, and they're not going to be. Right now, these tires are set up. This cart is set up for Rice Lake, and the Predator class, you can run any treaded tire you want, any compound, any size. So I do have a left rear that we purchased for actually MTS. So I think I'm going to use that as my left rear, and then I think I might buy some right sides, a different compound, because you'd be better with a softer compound there. I mean, if I had the option to do that with Corey, with the treads and the Sportsmans, I would, but that's not the rules we play by. But since I have an open tire rule, I'm going to change it up. So I think I'm going to order up some right sides, and we'll size them up here in the next couple weeks and get that ready for MTS. So, but besides doing all the repetitive stuff, the changing oil, that old man's been getting tires. I believe he flipped all the treads this week. They definitely need to be flipped because when you run on a hard, aggressive track, wears out the tires faster, and it's the only downfall of running on that type. But I don't know if you can't really see. Looks like these are Ryan's, so his actually didn't do what Autumn's were doing. I saw for sure, but they were feathering up. We lost this edge. And if you race cars, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. How the rubber feathers and actually kind of curls up a little bit. Thus why you flip them, thus why you resurface them, and keep nice sharp edges. But because this is a softer tire, this is our insides, which are D30s at Duro about 45. Our outsides are harder. This is a D50 compound that durometers are around that 50 range, and that's why we sipe our tires on the right sides. But it burns the tire up faster. So I don't know if this will be our final year on left side treads, but unfortunately that's one of the downfalls of running on a hard black track is tire wear. So yeah, you might be fast. As long as you stay in the groove, you're gonna be golden, but it's definitely wear and tear, and tires have dropped in price a little bit. I know a set of treads I think is in that $422 range, but that's still a lot of money. It's just a lot of money. But anyways, so I'm here in the shop to finish up two clutches. Corey's clutch, I gotta get cleaned up, change the driver on it, and get that ready for Friday. And then the old man actually is getting his new clutch from Fast Factory, the 5.0 clutch. We'll get that Friday when we get to the track. Cody Almers him and his family will be bringing it down along with that animal motor because they're going to be our go-between. Shaved us on some shipping. But I'm still going to get his regular clutch ready just in case. You never know if something happens. Something gets lost in transaction. So I'm still going to have a clutch ready to rock and roll. But my plan is then, once Dad gets his new 5.0 clutch from Fast Factory, of course, he'll run that. And then the current clutch he is running is actually going to be Autumn's new clutch for the animal. So that animal's got a little more torque and power than the clone that we got. So I'm going to put her up with a little bit of clutch. And of course, as she's been accelerating her skill level and everything, her starts have been getting better. She could use that extra off the line. So So yeah, so that's kind of the game plan. But I'm going on 15 minutes. So you listen to me rant. I am sorry there is no like shop content right now. I will be swinging in real quick tomorrow. I have like an hour and a half time frame to scale 3 and/or 4 carts. And then we're actually scaling Ryan at the track Friday since we get there so early. We got lots of time to throw him on the scales. So between personal lives and racing, it's extremely busy. So I will jump on tomorrow. Kind of give you some updates. Maybe we'll do a little footage of scaling. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So again, I guess the thought I want to jump on, kind of give you what's been going on. I am again sorry that the content's not coming out as fast. I'm literally five nights of racing behind. But my time is very limited right now. So please keep bearing with me, please, and just understand, I guess. And I guess like, subscribe, share, comment.